You're listening to the Zone Coverage Football Show, where opinions, passion, and pride are always on the line. Live from Tees Towers, here's your host, Mark Tees.
Hello. Welcome along to episode 5. This one is called The Last Sunday Without NFL Football. Been a few tweets out there. This is like the last Sunday without football up until after the Super Bowl. So good times are on the horizon. Mark Tees here. What are we now? August the 31st, 2014. A packed show. And you'll notice we're earlier than normal. 4 o'clock. Yes, believe it or not, due to popular demand, people wanted a longer show. Are you crazy listening to this full ramble nonsense, stutter words, paper shuffling and all that for 90 minutes? Yeah, 4 till 5:30. New time, as I tweeted out, same old nonsense. Talking of Twitter, see we're segueing, we're getting there now. The handle, he pauses, completely forgets, Zone Coverage FS. Tweet in, the audio's rubbish, let me know if it sounds good, let me know. Anything you want to talk about, hit us up. I'm going to be checking in on that regularly. I'm not as rushed this week, so hopefully I can sit back, relax and just chill and enjoy talking pigskin with you guys. What do we have coming up? Got a few new features because I've got 90 minutes fill and it could be a bit of a struggle, but hopefully it'll go down pretty well. We got the hot route coming up in a minute. I'll give you the number and the theme of that this week. NFL news, the majority of it I picked up this week, but as you know, this weekend, last one before it all kicks off. So yesterday, fans of the league, if you watch that, you'll be familiar with Fantastic Lady Day. So I did the right thing yesterday. Took the wife shopping, we stayed in a hotel. Fair enough, I missed all the cuts and that, so I'm not up to date fully with the rosters and all that, but I got me extra brownie points ahead of Sunday till February. So there's a method in my madness, so if you ring up and say, such and such has been cut, I might not be up to speed, so you'll be educating me. Right then, so we got the hot route, NFL news, the 4th pre-season games. No one's really fussed about the scores there, are they? That's good because I didn't jot them down. We have a new feature. Bear with me on this one, it'll be explained later. It's called the Love Line. Don't worry, I'm not going to be fixing you guys up with anyone else. That's probably for another show, another time. There's another one I'm going to sort of float out there, like trade, raid, aid. I'll explain all as we go through them. We're going to recap the not-so-great 8 now that the pre-season is in the bag. I'm going to do some mentions as well, so a lot of you guys have been in touch on a regular basis, be via Twitter, Zone Coverage FS, or the Facebook page, or email, which is zonecoveragefoootballshow@mail.com. Going to give you guys a bit of a shout-out and sort of like a thank you for all that you do. As you can probably hear in the background, something crazy is going on. I live very close to town, so if you do hear the odd siren, bear with me. Also, we're going to have a look at, if we get to it, Team Focus. We're going to have a look at the Chargers this week and the Cardinals. We're going to do a preview ahead of the Packers and Seahawks game on Thursday. And that sort of about gets us up to speed. So a little bit of housekeeping before we dive into the news. Fingers crossed that you are listening via either the TuneIn app or the Spreaker app. If you tune in at 4:30, where have you been? I've been tweeting like hell that we go 4 till 5. So yeah, just go to TuneIn, Spreaker, just search Zone Coverage Football Show. You'll find us, tune in live, spread the word and all that. If you want to listen back in the form of a podcast, you can do. You'll find that on Stitcher Radio and iTunes. Please subscribe, spread the word, leave us ratings. If you think it's rubbish, just say it's rubbish. He rambles utter nonsense. I can live with that, but just help us out. Just get the show going. We're only a week away from the season now. Let's grow this thing if that's possible. And what else do we have? Yeah. Failing all that, go to the website. That is www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com. Again, you'll get all the links to the live shows there, all the links to the podcast. There's a little bit about me, about the show, why it started, and all that, and past episodes are actually available on there if you want to do that. So right then, let's get into this. We'll do some news first, sort of catch you up on the week's events if you're not up to date, or like me, you've been earning the brownie points. Actually, backtrack, before the NFL news kicks in, we best set the hot route. So with the hot route, we do have a ranty sounder, so bear with me while I dig that out of the bag. Here we go.
Play to win the game. You don't play playing, it's just playing. That's the great thing about sports. You play to win. And I don't care if you don't have any win. You go play to win. If you start telling me it doesn't matter, then retire. Get out.
So that is good old Herm Edwards having a rant there. Right then, so the question of the day, the hot route, we set this sort of like the hot topic at the beginning of every show. I say at the beginning of every show, 5 minutes utter rambling nonsense so far, so fingers crossed you're sticking with it or you've not tuned in yet and you'll miss all this. Either way, this week's hot route, optimism. It's that Sunday before kickoff. Everyone's full of joy. Everyone reckons their team can win the Super Bowl. They've got a team full of MVPs and so on and so on. So my question to you guys, regardless of team, how do you feel your team's going to do this season? Will you be dancing in the confetti on Super Bowl Sunday in February? What are your expectations? Are you going to the playoffs? Do you want the first overall pick because your team stinks? Hopefully no one wants that. That'd be kind of backwards logic. But yeah, that's this week's hot routes. You can call the show. That is 0161 818 4593. 0161 818 4593. Failing that, you can also contact us at Ring the Show via Skype. To do that, it's Teece Mister. It's TEECE Mister. That's TEECE Mister. So any of those ways would be fantastic. Phone lines are now open, so feel free to chime in whenever you want. Yeah, do that. That's that out of the way. Back to the news then. So should have this. Should be working. Right then, top of the news I picked up at the beginning of last week. Navarro Bowman is on the PUP list. 49ers placed him on that, I believe it was Monday, so he's going to miss the first 6 games of the season. Also, it was announced on Monday that the Vikings starter will be Matt Castle in week 1. He, of course, beat out the gloved wonder Teddy Bridgewater. Also, Redskins' Brandon Merriweather, he was suspended by the league for his helmet-to-helmet hit on Torrey Smith during the third week of the preseason. He was suspended last year for the same reason. I think he got a couple of game ban, and then on appeal, it got reduced down to the 1. Also, this was quite interesting in the week. On Tuesday, the Seattle Seahawks, they were fined $300,000. They were violating the CBA agreement of non-contact during a June minicamp. As well as the fine, they're going to lose 2 days of practice in 2015. So I don't know what's more unnerving there if you're a Seahawks fan. Is there a rat amongst the ranks who's moaning, saying it's a bit physical? And I thought the Seahawks are all up in your face, physical. We play hard, train hard. I know there's obvious restraints, but who's whining about that? Very, very odd one there. Hopefully that's not something that surfaces its head throughout the season. So yeah, $300,000 fine for them and 2 missed practices next season. Also, the Broncos, Matt Prater last week was suspended for 4 games. Yeah, they traded for kicker Brandon McManus from the Giants for a conditional 7th round pick. There's a good chance that that's gone way out the window now because I missed all the cuts yesterday. Like I say, it is old news. Bear with me. The Bucs upgraded their O-line. This was the big news of the week, really, as they traded tight end Tim Wright and a 4th round pick for 6-time Pro Bowler Logan Mankins. Good old Bill Belichick there, not afraid to cut off his nose to spite his face. Pats fans, what do you think about this? Was Mankins at the end? Is this a good trade? Has he gone before his decline, or typical Bill? Bucs fans, what do you think? Your O-line was an obvious need of this. There was rumours that Richie Incognito was in town as well. So did you use that as bait? Whatever. Let us know. 0161 818 4593. That number again is for the hot route. I'm asking you guys your team expectations and all that. Back to the news. Titans defensive tackle Jarrell Casey became the highest paid player on the Titans. He penned a 4-year, $36 million deal, $20.4 million guaranteed. Nice work if you can get it. And then one that broke towards the end of the week. 49ers Aldon Smith, 9-game suspension. And this is based on, basically, he was violating the league's policy on personal conduct and substance abuse. According to a variety of sources, the breakdown is like this. 4 games for the substance abuse and 5 for the personal conduct. 49ers fans, Yeah, you guys are going to struggle this year. It's going to be an interesting season there. Josh Gordon, finally, and I mean finally. How long does this take, by the way? Well, have we known for months now? His suspension's come down. It's a year. That effectively does mean he's going to miss camps and all that next year, which I think is a bit harsh, missing camps. So you can't come back, picking up the playbook. Teams have no contact. Sort of madness. But apparently after the season's over, he can apply to be reinstated. So we'll see what happens there. So Josh Gordon suspended for a year. The only thing that annoyed me about that is a repeat offender, blah, blah, blah. The suspension is what it is. Just the time it took. Very, very annoying. Browns fans, did that frustrate you? How do you feel now? Offense weapon down. Did you prepare correctly for this eventuality? Yeah, there's a good argument there, I suppose, depending which way you look at it. Also, yeah. Talking of suspensions and stuff, and Roger Goodell, he's actually come out and was quite honest. This refers to, what's his name now? Good old Ray Rice, the alleged, emphasis on the alleged part, wife beater. There was the domestic violence charge. He got 2 game suspension. Roger's gone, I didn't get that right. Apparently he's penned a letter to the NFL clubs, and the quote is, I didn't get it right. So now we've got radical changes. First offence, 6 games. Second offence, lifetime ban. Is that too harsh? Maybe could it be a season ban or whatever? Or is it too light? Should it be a lifetime ban? First one and done. Thoughts on that as well. 0161 818 4593. Also, the curious case of Kyle Orton continues. I don't know if Bills fans are going to be rejoicing or what, but Kyle Orton this summer, he was like, nah, you know what, Cowboys? I don't really know if I can be bothered. I'm not overly interested. I know you give me $3 million, and I'm just not feeling it, I might just retire and, just go sip mojitos in the desert and just chill. And they've gone, oh, all right then, fair enough, we'll cut you, keep the money, whatever. He's then gone and signed a 1-year deal on Friday with the Buffalo Bills because EJ Manuel absolutely stinks. There's no polite way of putting that, to be honest. He does stink. Anyway, that wraps up the news. I feel I've got everything. I know I've missed a lot of roster cuts and stuff like that, but inform me, ring the show, let me know what happened. I don't really know. So that is your news of the week. I've not really checked what's gone on today with travelling back and that. I wanted to be here in the studio. Apparently, I've already ruined the live studio by tweeting out there's actually like a little man corner in the spare room, but it does the business. Well, we'll have a check-in on Twitter now, see what you guys are doing, see what you've been tweeting in at me. Like I say, we're on air for another hour and 15 minutes. Wow. Yeah, deep breaths, have a stiff drink, and bear with me while I check in on the Twitter feed. Hit me up at Zone Coverage FS. Got 8 notifications. Right then, where are we going? Oh, this is from Russell Duke. He says, finally listening live to the Zone Coverage FS. Normally have to on the pod. Welcome aboard. Will Davis, I'm on board. Sound quality is pretty good here. He's still going with the hashtag VolumeGate. A few retweets from Huddle Magazine. Marty, who rang in the show last week, says, question for you. Most surprising player cut, in brackets, all teams. Which cut player would you like for your team? I did reply to Marty and said, didn't see the full list. Champ Bailey, Jets need a corner. A pretty obvious one. There's no real thought on that, my end. Right then. Russell Dukes, he's hammering this away. Appreciate the retweets and that. Junaid as well. Junaid Hussein, he said he might call in later if he gets a chance. A couple of new followers. Welcome if you are listening, and keep spreading the words, guys. Fantastic stuff. What I want to look in on now, what shall we do in here? The Not So Great 8 feature. This seems to have gone down pretty well the last few times. I think I caught up with it last week after reeling it out on episode 1, I believe. So the Not So Great 8, if you are a new listener, goes like this. Power rankings, lists and all that. Everyone does them. I could have done one, but as you'll know by now, we're 5 episodes in. I'm a little bit odd, strange. You can be a bit harsher than that. I'm a Jets fan. Got a thick skin. So, the Not So Great 8 feature goes like this. Rather than going from the bottom all the way up to the greatest team ever to grace the planet, I do who I feel will prop up the division, the bottom of each relative division. So 8 divisions, you're pretty damn rubbish, hence the Not So Great 8. We will start out with the AFC East. I need a sounder for this. Why have I not made one? I spent all week... I nearly swore then. Nearly. I'll save that for the other show. Oh, that was a close one. Right, yeah. So I need a new sounder. I spent all week messing about with other stuff, which you'll hear later on as we go through this. And mind right. I've totally thrown myself then by nearly dropping an F-bomb. Professional, I am not. Anyway, back to the Not So Great 8. AFC East. Previously, the Dolphins held this spot, mainly because I thought all the rumblings and stuff that had gone on with Richie Incognito and Jonathan Martin and the fallout there, I didn't feel that was under control. Thought that might sort of rumble on into the new season. But, shocker, they've been replaced. And I think I've already been maybe a little bit too harsh on good old EJ Manuel. But the Bills replaced the Dolphins, propping up the AFC East. Why? I'm sorry, EJ, but I've not seen enough from you this pre-season. Sammy Watkins, he's got a bad rib now, hamstring the other week, something like that. It's not looking too good out of there. And then good old Kyle Orton turns up as well. So I feel for the Bills, if I'm honest. They've had a few bad, poor years. Defensively, they've got a fantastic team, one of the best in the NFL, you could argue, but going forward, scoring points going to be a problem. And then you've got that idiot Bon Jovi wanting to move you into Canada. Not good times, I'm afraid. So the Bills prop up the AFC East. Again, guys, if you want to chime in on this, 0161 818 4593. Thoughts on Twitter as well. Zone Coverage FS. Right then, on to the AFC North. I should have done the shocker alert. I think there's been 4 movies in me Not So Great 8. The Bengals held the AFC North bottom spot. Mainly, I think I mentioned last time round, the loss of coaches Mike Zimmer and Jay Gruden. I thought that would have a knock-on effect. And you know how it is. New coaches, new systems and stuff. Sometimes people don't pick it up. Ask Eli. Anyway, right then. So, the Bengals were bottom. I got to do it really. From what I've seen over the pre-season, the last 4 weeks now, and all the rumblings and all the news, the headlines and stuff like that. The Browns slip. Why are the Browns propping up? I know I do have a couple of Browns listeners. Apologies, guys. Why have you slipped and replaced the Bengals? Well, Andy Dalton's looked fantastic. I feel the Steelers are younger and faster on D, and I feel Big Ben's going to have a good year. The Ravens, we've got old boring Joe Flacco. I just feel that they've got more than the Browns. And the main issue I've got really is poor quarterback play. Brian Hoyer has not been overly convincing. I can see why they starting Hoyer. This is a question as well. I feel Hoyer's getting best way of phrasing this now. I feel they're putting him on the ledge for push him off, basically. Setting him up to fail. That's what I'm after. Hoyer's been set up to fail. I think they've got they've got some tough fixtures. If I prepared properly, I have the fixtures in front of me. Then they open up with the Steelers or the Bengals. They basically got 3 really tough games and then the bye week. Hoyer, it's not pretty. And good old, didn't mention him last show. This has got to be a first, by the way. Has anyone other show that you've listened to not mentioned that little kid that runs around used to play for Texas A&M? Can I go 2 shows without mentioning his name? You'll know who I'm on about. Anyway, he's not looked overly good himself. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. The Browns prop up the AFC North. There's nothing to said what hasn't been said about the quarterback position. In Cleveland, to be honest, it's been done to death. Move on. Focuses on, again, another team. Really good defense. Absolute shocking offense. Again, Josh Gordon not being there as well. So we have a call. I know who this is. So just go to the phone lines and we'll pick this up in a minute. Hello?
Hi Mark, how's it going?
I'm very well, Rich. How are you, mate?
Not too bad at all.
Good.
Just ringing in. Loving the show, by the way.
Thank you very much.
I just thought I'd share this. I started to notice a bit of a trend with the draft.
Okay.
Cool. Oh, I know who this is. So
There was the final roster cuts there.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear an echo, Rich. I think, am I on in the background via an app, maybe?
Yeah. I'll knock it off.
We have live drama. Appreciate. I was listening hard then, hence the pause, and I'm thinking, is that my voice? I'm not throwing it all the way overseas that well, am I?
Yeah, no, just the final roster cuts were there this weekend, and I've been noticing a bit of a trend recently. I've noticed that a good few of the late round draft picks are getting cut now. Obviously, a lot of them will probably enter into the practice squads if they're not picked up by other teams. But
yeah.
I've seen San Francisco starting this. Last year, they drafted a guy from South Carolina called Marcus Lattimore. He was injured. So they picked him, I think it was in either the 4th or 5th round, to put him on IR for the year. And they done the same again this year with a guard, Thomas from Clemson. I think they picked him in the 3rd round this year.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering what your thoughts on that would be with regards for future reference, because unless, like, obviously fair enough, San Francisco have a pretty stacked roster, so it's going to be hard for a rookie to get in. But maybe it mightn't be a bad idea with teams with a lot of picks. They maybe should be looking at in future picking late round guys that are actually injured so that they can stash them for a year. Maybe assess them better under when they are out injured, and then see if they have what it takes in year 2.
It's a tough one, really. I think you've sort of touched on it. It depends. Like you say, the 49ers do have a loaded roster. And if you can afford to do it, I think it's a really good idea. Like you say, with Marcus Lattimore, I think, what did he do? He's ACL, did it a couple of years running, something ridiculous. And they do have the loaded backfield there, and maybe with a guy like that who's going to learn off Frank Gore, sit there and become like the backup quarterback, so to speak, with the clipboard, learning from one of the greats of the game. If you can do it, in theory, it is fantastic. But again, I suppose you've got to be... your franchise has got to be on the crest of a wave like the 49ers are. They're not going to get enough flack because they are winning. They're competitive. They're going to championship games and the Super Bowl. And the head coach as well, he's bringing them success. He's been there for a while. I don't know if a new coach could actually go in somewhere and do that. Would they have the same sort of freedom? If they have a losing season, do people then point this out and say, by the way, why did you waste a pick on a kid that was injured?
I totally understand. Looking at it from a Jets perspective, like this year we had 12 picks, as you know.
Yeah.
2 of our picks is already on IR. McDougall, the cornerback, we picked in the 3rd round, and Shaq Evans, the wide receiver, who was in the 4th round. Now, I was looking at the roster cuts yesterday, and the team we have, the 53 players we have remaining, minus those 2 guys. Now, I'm just wondering to myself, if those 2 guys weren't injured, I would probably presume that they may have been in the final 53. I'm just wondering what 2 guys they would have released to put them in, you know?
Ooh, now that is a good question.
Because it actually might have been a bit more beneficial for us, strange as it may sound, that those 2 guys are actually injured, because we don't have to worry about other teams claiming them and things like that, you know? Because, maybe... I can't really think of anybody else in the cornerback position that we could have cut. I think we cut 5 defensive backs yesterday. So I don't think if McDougall had been, I would have certainly presumed he would have been in the squad. Maybe somebody like Langster might have been the obvious guy that was cut, or that new guy that we got from the Canadian League there last week who had the interception against the Eagles.
Yeah, I definitely feel, probably would have been Langster, to be honest. Like you say, he would have been chopped.
Yeah, but that's what I was just thinking, the fact being that the Jets did have the 12 picks, I don't think when you have a squad of 53 guys, all 12 were conceivably going to make the roster. I think we cut Taj Boyd yesterday, and Dixon, the cornerback, I think they were about 6th-round guys.
Yeah.
So, we still have 10 guys there from the 12, obviously with 2 on IR.
I know that the practice rosters, they've gone up from, is it 8 to 10?
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah,
so that's a good thing. Could maybe they be extended? Maybe why not make them 15 and keep these younger guys around? Because what do they go and do now?
Yeah, like I think football is sort of, I feel, missing a trick there. Like you see, like let's just say even ice hockey, baseball, they all have minor leagues.
Yeah.
Where they have like sending their players that aren't ready into the minor leagues, let them play and progress there. Whereas obviously I understand the reasoning for having practice squads and things like that. But like when there's a hell of a lot of guys coming out of the draft every year, for them to have no league whatsoever to go and play, and if they don't make the final roster, the practice squad, like they sort of they opened it up a bit more this year as well. The rules, like before, I think a player could only have played 9 games over 2 years. For them, if they played 10, they wouldn't be eligible for the practice squad. Now they opened them up a bit more now. I think this year that you can have maybe, I think it's something like 14 games in 3 years now. So like even I think the likes of Stephen Hill actually could be, even though he was cut yesterday by the Jets, he actually could be eligible for the practice squad. Whereas before these rule changes, he certainly wouldn't have been. You know?
Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know what they're going to do moving forward. And like you say, touching back on your original question about stashing players, I don't know, there's no time given. But then again, you look at these first-round picks, these quarterbacks, I don't think there's not one of them going to be starting, is there, week 1?
Yeah.
Either, so they've sort of been... I know they're not getting stashed on IR and stuff like that, but there seems... I don't know, are we coming into maybe a more patient era, maybe?
I would doubt that now.
Yeah, this is what I mean. It's weird, isn't it?
Yes, but by the fans, I don't think there's a lot of patience around with fans these days.
See, you know, I mentioned it numerous times. You know what it's like on Sunday. Twitter, opening kickoff can be returned. It goes absolutely berserk. It's like, hang on, there's 3 hours of ball to be played yet, and people are already jumping off a cliff.
Yeah, exactly. Like I think as well, just as you were talking about. The quarterbacks, probably the guy that might be best starting week 1 could be actually Carr with the Raiders. I think he was taken in the 2nd round.
Yes, I'd agree with that. Yeah, I think the Raiders should go down that route. Matt Schaub, for me, he was okay with the Texans. He had a good few seasons, and I just think now his confidence is gone. He's completely shot, and I know he's become sort of a laughing, ongoing joke within the league, but deep down I sort of feel sorry for him in a weird kind of way. I know I've poked a lot of fun at him myself, but he's just seen a guy playing relatively okay. He wasn't setting the league on fire. He was doing a good, steady job, but now you look at him and it's like, wow, it's just confidence gone. It's just, Derek Carr, they've got to go that route for me.
Yeah, maybe Bridgewater as well. He might maybe start with the Vikings. I haven't really heard much from the Vikings yet as regards whether they have named the starter yet. But
Matt Castle is the starter. He was announced on Monday. That was.
Was he right? Yeah, well, I just read a few reports. All right, that Bridgewater impressed pretty much in pre-season. I know pre-season's just pre-season, but I think he did sort of surprise guys with how far along he was in comparison to some of the other rookie guys, you know?
Yeah, I think they've sort of landed on the perfect scenario, really. The gloved wonder, I refer to him as. Good old Teddy's come in, and Matt Castle's gone, oh, hey up, and it's sort of lit a fire underneath him. And then Bridgewater's come in, and he's done better than expected. So whichever sort of way they go, they're pretty well set up with a QB1, QB2 there, so... that can only be a good thing, can only be beneficial for the team moving forward. And
just when I was listening there when you were on about the Cleveland Browns, just to finish off, I actually watched Draft Day, the new movie out with Kevin Costner. I watched that last night.
I've got a question about Draft Day, the movie. Is it worth watching? Because I sort of fall into it's a film about football, I'll watch it for the sake of it. I've heard really, really mixed reviews.
It's okay. It's not very realistic, but
right.
The one thing I did notice what they did when the commissioner came out onto the stage there were cheers, so I just thought.
Yeah, there's no cheers for that commissioner when he comes out on stage.
So that part really sort of irked me a bit,
Yeah. Yeah, if you're involving the commissioner, at least get the background and the effects spot on as well.
Yeah. But so I don't know whether Cleveland had a better real draft, or in the movie. I'd say that's probably open to debate.
So your synopsis of it is that in the draft day, the movie, the Browns had a better draft than in real life.
Probably, although the verdict is still out with Johnny Football. I think he does have a good chance to be a pretty good player. It's just his whole attitude for me. He's the type of player I would stay away from. But skill-wise, he certainly has it.
Yeah. In certain aspects, I'm really on the fence. I've not really jumped on the hype and the bandwagon. For me, he's got to go out and he's sort of got to kind of earn me trust. I don't know. I've not... I don't know. I just can't buy into the hype, I'm afraid. And it's not a pretty situation up there. It's like I said, defensively, I think they're outstanding.
Yeah, very good.
It's just, it's a mess. And
you think that they'll be even better this year on defense with ex-Jet DC up there now as the head coach?
I think they will be. Yeah, I think Have you read the book Collision Low Crosses?
No, I have it on order.
I mentioned this, I think it was in the first show. Browns fans, if you're unsure about Mike Patton, go and read the Collision Low Crosses book. It's by Nicholas Davidoff, or Doidoff, or whatever. Collision Low Crosses, just Google that. And that gives you a really good insight. It follows the Jets, I think it's the 11th season possibly. 11 or 12, yeah. And Mike Patton in that book comes across very stern guy, no nonsense, but a defensive genius. The more and more I read that book, the more and more I just fell in love with the guy. It's like, wow, I feel he's gonna make a really good head coach. He did a decent job with the Bills.
Yeah, he wasn't bad there. I think he transformed them around a bit, although they had a good D-line already. And did a few good guys at defensive back, like Board there at safety. He was probably one of the top guys in the league too. So
he's I like his defensive philosophy. You got your press corners. I hate seeing these big receivers come off the line unscathed. Why would you do that? It just, for me, it makes no sense. Yeah, I know he can beat you, he can push off, and he can get down the field, whatever. But for me, if you can it's all about timing, isn't it? If you can delay him half a second, 1 second, you've done your job for me. I like that approach, really, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I agree with that, yeah. I think it's sort of becoming a bit more, how would you say, mainstream now for corners. If you don't sort of get physical, you're not really rated as high anymore. I think the day of the zone corners, because the wide receivers have got so big and strong, is nearly sort of, how would you say, becoming an afterthought. The all teams seem to want the corners to press at the line and be strong. So I think Cleveland, they certainly have a great corner there. He's still only young as well, and Hayden. So
Joe Hayden. Was it Justin Gilbert they drafted as well?
That's right. He's going to take a little while, but I think he's 2 years, I'd say, away from making strides. Although very good skills, like he has got a lot of things going from there. Maybe having somebody like Hayden there as well might help in his development too. So
he's only going to learn from one of the best, and also Hayden's going to take the number one. So you're still going to be picking up a decent number two receiver, and like I say, it's Mike Patton's system. It's a tough one to learn from what I've been reading and that. So if you can get your head around that, then it can only benefit him, like you say, in the long run. And then 2 or 3 years time, the best cornerback duo in the league, possibly.
Yeah. You could be right.
That'd be a good bet, actually. Let's get that on. Not that I encourage betting if many children that are listening, but you never know.
It's okay.
I have to be careful now. I nearly dropped an F-bomb earlier as well, so you never know. You might be in the car with your children, so I'll keep it clean.
Yeah. Well, thanks for taking the call, Mark.
And Rich, anytime, mate. I appreciate you calling in. One last quick one. I know you went to the Croke Park Classic yesterday.
I did, yeah. Penn State and UCF. Yeah, it was a great game.
How was that received? Was that good fun?
Yeah, we had 53,000 attendance at the game.
Wow.
I went up with my daughter and a friend. She actually bought me the ticket for.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, we had good fun. Now ended up, I think it was 26-24 to Penn State. Penn State scored with 3 seconds to go, a field goal to win the game, and it was great atmosphere. And like it's like, how do you say, the razzmatazz that's attached to American football is just unbelievable. They had the fireworks, they had like army guys out in the pitch, they had the fighter jets doing a flyover.
Did they? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, the noise in the stadium when the jets flew over was just unbelievable. Like, they had guys coming in parachutes, like with the team flags and all that type of stuff. Although one of the guys actually, he missed the stadium.
And the car park. At least it's better. Did you ever see that game? I think it was Aston Villa where one of them landed on the roof and the game was delayed for a while.
That's right, I remember that, yeah. But yeah, overall, no, I have to say, yeah, it was excellent. The atmosphere was great. It was real good football too. Like, there was plenty of skill on display. So, like, I was sort of there in a scouting capacity, as you know, like with working with Draft Tech. So it was good to actually see a few of the players that I usually watch on TV up close and personal, you know?
Yeah, good. I'm glad you had a good time. And like I say, I was away in that, so I didn't get a chance to check in on the college stuff yesterday.
Oh, well, you've no worries on your fancy football this week. I think you've me well beaten.
Yeah, that was the only one thing that I did catch, that you said that I'd beat you, so off to a winning start my end, which isn't a bad thing.
Well,
then.
That's you.
Brilliant. Okay, then, Rich, I shall leave you to it, mate. I really appreciate the call and continued support, mate, with this little venture that I've got going.
No, always a pleasure, Mark. Always a pleasure talking to you.
Okay, then, bud. I'll catch up with you over the next few hours, few days or so. Take care, buddy.
Okay,
bye, Rich.
Right, goodbye.
And that was Rich Tinley. I think you can find him on Twitter at Tinley24. As you're probably aware, well, you might not be aware, but he does a lot of work for Draft Tech. So if you're into your college ball and stuff like that, highly recommended follow on there. So yeah, I would just check in back on good old Twitter before we jump back to the not so great 8 feature. Let me just have a look at this now. Oh yeah, Huddle Magazine says there's like a name for Hoyer and Manzel. He says they're calling him Hoyzal, which is sounds very odd. Marty, breaking news that I've missed this while the show's been going on. 49ers defensive tackle Ray McDonald allegedly involved in domestic violence incident. He says, oops, strike 1, 6-game ban. So anyone's got any more info on that, send it this way. Zone Coverage FS. And Marty also tweeted again and said, oops, at Rich as well. This is directed at you. Echogate. So we have Soundgate and Echogate as hashtags as we roll through the show. Just touch back on the hot route, which was basically... what was the hot route now? Mine's gone blank. Optimism, that was it. Optimism fills the air the Sunday before NFL kickoff. Your team's expectations, are you going to the big dance, confetti in your hair? Are you 6 games in, screaming and becoming a keyboard warrior on Twitter as your team absolutely stinks, has no wins, and your starting QB and wide receiver are sidelined? Hit up the show. It is 0161 818 4593. Skype as well. It's Mr. TEECE Mr. Yeah, that is the avenues on which you can connect with me today. So back to the not so great 8 feature. Yes, I'd just done the AFC North, so we should go west. Yeah, sort of contradicting myself on this one. I said with the other 2 divisions, excuse me, that poor QB play determines those really. And you could argue that the Raiders have been poor. But I got a gut feeling that the Raiders are going to be okay. I don't know if they're going to they're probably not going to have a winning season, which would be, the first in nearly a decade? Something crazy. But I've got this weird, strange feeling about the Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs. I feel they're going to implode. The O-line's not so good. I actually saw that comment come up on a draft I did last week. First overall pick, I think Charles made it to about 5 or 6. No one was taking him. They're worried about the O-line, and that's quite a lot of just the casual fans and that are noticing that. One injury away from being in absolute trouble there. Also, they can't protect. My mind's gone blank. What's his name? Quarterback. Alex Smith. Boom. Had it in there somewhere. Alex Smith, they can't protect him. The running game might struggle. I just feel that the Raiders, they might get lucky. There's a comment out there that they've got the oldest roster, 53-man roster, average age-wise. Something's got to stick there. They're going to hit there. So the Raiders, you're safe. You're not going to be bottom. I'm going with the Chiefs. I know it's bold. There was something about they had the 7th. There's an easy schedule last time round, and now it's the 7th hardest. I should properly look at my notes, shouldn't I, before spewing out this. Anyway, AFC West, Chiefs, you are bottom of that division. Moving on, go to the AFC South. A few weeks ago, I went with the good old Tennessee Titans, and I'm still not hearing any love for the Titans. This was a question that was posed a couple of weeks back now by Neil Dutton. He rung in and asked, what do you think of the Titans? And I was pretty much stumped for an answer, in all honesty. I'm not really sure how they viewed throughout the league. I did send a call out there to Titans fans. If you are listening, tuning in or listening back, get in touch. Everyone sort of just sees the franchise as and what is It's like I don't really know what to take. But anyway, I'm going a little off track, but I did have the Titans a few weeks ago at the bottom, but I'm liking what good old Ken Weisenhunt's doing there with the quarterbacks. That Mettenberger's looked good when he's come in. Excuse me, I forgot my throat there. Yeah, and what's his name now? Jake Locker. That's the name I was panning for. Yeah, Jake Locker's also looked pretty good in pre-season. I think I touched on this a few weeks back now. Beginning of the last season, he started off. It looked pretty good, to be honest. Then good old Mo put him out, unfortunately for Titans fans, and the struggle sort of went from there, really. But I feel that they're going to be all right, Titans are this year. So I've bumped them up, and I'm going Texans here. I am going Texans. Why? Ryan Fitzpatrick. See, I'm not a quarterback guy. You've probably picked up on that by now. Although I give the Raiders a pass because of Derek Carr. So yeah, I know I'm contradicting myself, but bear with me. Ryan Fitzpatrick, Arian Foster's coming off an injury. They only won 2 games in division last year, which is also concerning. I know they've got Watt and Clowney. Clowney showed some flashes getting into the backfield. If you're going to be, I suppose if you want to be critical on Clowney, well, you could say he's struggling mainly with coverage. That's going to come. He's going to be a phenomenal player. There's no two ways about that. But it's 4 weeks in, as I'm going to do with the not-so-great 8 feature. Every 2 or 3 weeks, I'm going to touch on this, and I'll move them up and down. Not going to go every week, unless I'm really struggling and I've been busy at work and not prepared well. Which you're probably screaming at the radio. Would that be right? Would you be screaming at the radio or your app or whatever and saying, you never sound like you're prepared. Don't worry. Anyway, moving on. NFC East. The Cowboys propped up this division last time we looked in on this. Pretty easy call, really, it was. But there's a shock here. There's a shock on the cards. My thought and my madness here is the Cowboys' defence is going to stink. There's no two ways about that. They're probably going to improve. That's not a good idea to improve on the stats that they were defensively the worst team. So they're going to have a worse defence, is what I'm trying to say, than they did last year, which was record-setting. So they're going to break the record that they set last year, which would be laughable and really bad. And anyway, my argument for them moving up is they're going to be competitive in shootouts. Romo, Bryant, they're absolute monsters. They've been replaced by the Giants. Why? Why have they been replaced by the Giants, you're screaming? Am I high? No, I'm not friends with Josh Gordon. I'm not high. The Giants are there. Yeah, they've been replaced mainly because Eli Manning is struggling with Ben McAdoo's system. And when you think of Ben McAdoo, does this pop in anyone else's head, by the way? It's the Ben Agadoo theme tune. Surely, I'm not the only one that's thought that. Come on. We all remember it from going on Butlins holiday camps back in the day. Maybe a little older than me. A little older, a little younger than me even. Anyway, yeah. Just an excuse basically to play that sound effect. Childish my end, I don't care. Anyway, yeah. Eli Manning and the Giants have struggled offensively. They seem to have stumbled on a running game. I don't know how far that's going to carry him, but yeah, I do worry about that. And I'm sure there was a comment the other day saying something along the lines, this might take a year to bed in. Yeah, a way to reassure your fan base there, Eli. So well done, round of applause to you. We shall move on. NFC North. Afraid to say, things remain the same here. Basically, as I stated last time round, Vikings fans, it boils down to this. The Lions, the Bears and the Packers. You're just in a division where they have unbelievable firepower. Yeah, you're probably going to score on them. For me, this is probably going to be the best division to watch this year. Just because phenomenal offences, questionable defences. We also talked about the Lions on last week's show. Any Lions listeners, I stated a good argument. Could maybe they go to the Super Bowl this year. So, yeah, the Vikings remain bottom here. Castle and the Gloved Wonder seem to be pushing each other, so you're getting... There's something good coming out of it anyway. You're going to win a few games. I'm not going to say you're going to absolutely stink. I'm just saying you're going to prop up the division. Moving on then to the NFC South. I went bold last time out. I picked the Bucs. And guess what? I'm sticking with the Bucs. Why am I sticking with the Bucs? A, because I can. B, because I'm crazy. And it's not going to be easy. Let's say the Panthers are going to slip. I know Cam Newton's got his nursing a cracked rib now. Ankle's still a bit. He's unsure on that ankle. If you've watched Cam this pre-season, he's not rolling out as he usually was. So that does concern me. So I'm getting the Bucs. I know they've obviously upgraded the O-line now. I can foresee the Bucs probably being replaced by the Panthers going forward. But as it stands, I'm taking the easy way out. I'm a wimp. Who cares? I'll put that on record. Easy way out for me. Easy way out also in the NFC West. I went Rams last time due to my concerns with Sam Bradford. And tragedy struck the other week in the third preseason game. It looked a bit innocuous, to be fair. He looked okay when he came off the field. Later reported that ACL tear on the same knee that he did last year. I know I've ribbed you, Sam Bradford. You could argue, rightly so, but I don't like seeing players get injured, and I do genuinely feel for you. It's not good, and heart goes out to you, Sam. It's not the way you want to go out, really. How will the Rams cope? They're in a tough division. I have the Cards finishing second. Spoiler alert, by the way. I can see the Cards overtaking the 49ers in this division. So, yeah, unfortunately, Rams, you stay where you were. And that concludes the not-so-great 8. Sound like a lottery presenter. That concludes today's draw, people. Right then, just having another check-in on Twitter. Zone Coverage FS. 48 minutes in. Not doing too bad so far, I don't feel. Keep bringing your tweets in. Rich and Morty are having a bit of back and forth now regarding... the Echo Gates and the corners that maybe the Jets should pick up. So right then, come on guys, hit us up. Phone number 0161 818 4593. The hot route again. How do you view your team's chances moving forward throughout the season? How do you feel you're going to fare? I had this idea, moving on, for a new feature. I didn't really get off the ground with it, so I'm a call out to you guys. I want you to help me because I am a lazy host, is the long and short of it, basically. So I come up with this idea called, you know how you can have that love-hate Mario or love-kiss Mario or something childish game like that. So I've done a spin on that. Trade, raid, aid is the premise of this feature. And what I wanted to do, or what I want you guys to do, is mail them in. I'll read them out on the show, and we'll see if we can get some banter if people agree, disagree with you. But the idea of it is trade. You could trade for any player in the division, but you can't just say, right, I want Tom Brady for whoever, or for... It's not. We're not going to do it for picks. They've got to be 2 players of equal talent. They can be at different positions. So, I don't know. See, I'm not put much thought into this. So that's the premise for that one. You can't say, well, I've Drew Brees, we'll give you 2 number 1 picks. No, it'd be Drew Brees for, let's say, Jamal Charles. Best quarterback, you could argue. Best running back, you could argue. Would that work? That's the sort of guidelines I want to go down. Probably a bad, let's say, Megatron for Brees. That would be a good trade. If you were a Saints fan, would you trade away Brees Megatron? That's what you do for trade. So raid, this is the part. Anyone, if you got anyone from anyone's roster, who would you have and why? So trade and raid done. And aid. This is one that I thought, well, there's a lot of players in the league that just have misfortunes and things don't click for them on the field. Looking at my poor old Jets, Stephen Hill, absolutely garbage, couldn't catch a cold. So you could say, right, I've done my trade, my raid. My aid part would be give him some sticky gloves so he could catch the ball. Joking aside, you know what I mean? Or aid would be, say you're a Rams fan. Sam Bradford's gone down with injuries. Your aid would be healthy for 1 season. What could he do if he was healthy for 1 season? So that's the sort of premise on this feature. So trade, raid, aid. Tweet them at me. Zone Coverage FS. You can even do a hashtag if you want. Yeah, make one up. I can't think on the spot. TRA. Hashtag TRA. Who would you do? Why? Give a little bit of explanation. If you want to go crazy, email the show. Zone Coverage Football Show at mail.com. Nailed it. So yeah, that's trade, raid, aid. Yeah, that's right. Oh my God. See, I've gone over 45 minutes going into meltdown mode. So that's that new feature. I did write it down, didn't get round to any examples. Hopefully I've explained that well enough and we can get that going. So basically help me out on this. That moves us on. We've done a not so great 8. I've got a team focus I feel we'll touch on a little bit, like this one, this new feature. Bear with me. Please bear with me. I think I'll take a moment and check in on Twitter before we hit this one up, because it could have you in some fits and stitches, hopefully. So, I have a message from Tom. He says, do you want me to keep my 100% record and call in this week or give others a chance? For the moment, Tom, just hold off for a while. I get these features out the way. If no one else calls in, I'm sure we can rush the last 5-10 minutes of the show, buddy. We seem to have that down to an absolute fine art at the moment. I'm just checking Twitter here. Nothing else going on, so it's all quiet. Where are you, folks? I know football, regular football, soccer is back on the tally, but that's no excuse. Do not palm me off for soccer. Who's playing anyway? I don't even know. That's how interested I am. The wife's just popped her head in. You want to say hello? Shake of the head says no. Off she scarpers. Anyway, this new feature that I'm going to put out there, it's got a really dodgy theme tune, and I shall explain how I come across this. Oh God, that's the wrong choice of words thinking about it. Anyway, this is the Zone Coverage Love Line, all to be explained after this little interlude.
Welcome to the Zone Coverage Football Show Love Line.
And that is the opening titles to the Love Line feature. Yes, don't worry, I did not press on a dodgy website and something popped up. The Love Line, I am not setting you guys up on dates. You can do that yourself, and if you're struggling, down a few shots might help you in your quest. The the Love Line feature is basically wide receivers, quarterbacks, corners, running backs are the glory boys of the league. And I wanted to show some love for the big guys up front, the O-linemen and the D-linemen, hence the name Love Line. I know it's really, really dodgy, and that music that I found, I was searching, my Google search history is going to look really dodgy. I was searching for 70s porn soundtracks. If you're listening and you've got kids, sorry, but that might take some explaining. Just say it's classical music from old films. There's your get out of jail card. You're very welcome there. So yeah, I was searching that, stumbled across that, thought, right, just got to do it, had to. So back to what this feature is about. It's love for the big men up front. They protect our quarterbacks that we shower in glory and praise week upon week. And these guys do not get enough praise, basically. We're not giving them enough love, so that's why we are here. And also, I'll be very, very honest. I'm no expert. I cannot name every man from every roster. You'll educate me as we go along. I'm not really sure if I'm educating you as we go along. So, yeah. I'm just going just bear with me 1 second while I just jump to Twitter. I have a quick tweet here. This is from Junid. Yes, Junid, shall I call in? Junid, if you are listening, please, mate, call in 5 minutes. Call in 5. I am just typing this out now. See, this one-man show, very unprofessional. So he's just added me on good old Skype. So Junid's going to call in 5 minutes, so that's good. So I shall rattle back through now the Love Line feature. Lots of love for the big guys up top. And if I am missing, what was I saying now? Yeah, I'm no expert. You've probably gathered that by now. So if you know your O-line and D-line better than me, you want to nominate a player for this segment of the show, please do. Hit me up. Zone Coverage Football Show at mail.com. Zone Coverage FS. Phone number 0161 818 4593. It's weird now that I know that number better than I know my wife's mobile number. Scary. Anyway, first up on the new feature Love Line is Eagles guard Evan Mathis. Right then, he was the 79th pick, 3rd round by the Carolina Panthers. He spent his early years in Carolina primarily as a backup, and that was in 05. Then in 06, he got a few starts, and then he really struggled for playing time. Landed in Cincinnati in 08, had a 2-year spell with the Bengals, obviously. Didn't give up a sack in that time. That alone is an impressive stat. He then joined the Eagles on a 1-year deal in July of 11, where he started 47 out of 48 games. You probably know the latest stat. Or he might have jumped into your radar, under your radar. Yeah, he might have jumped into your radar when he signed a 5-year, $25.5 million contract back in March 2012. So that is Evans Mathis of the Eagles, a guard. We are giving you love, showering you with praise there. Next up on my list is a Saints guard, Jory Evans. Has been a rock on the line for the Saints, starting 126 games out of a possible 128. That is impressive. He was only the 4th guard in Saints history to make the Pro Bowl when he was selected in 2010. Also, again, the news highlight that probably would have jumped out at you, signed a bumper 7-year, $56.7 million contract back in 2010. Last on the list for this Love Line feature, which I feel might get some really dodgy comments, but hit me up, Zone Coverage FS. If you like it, let me know. If you hate it, I'll happily get rid of anything you don't like, and I'll happily incorporate any suggestions or anything you guys have. So, Josh Sitton for the Packers, another guard. A lot of love for the guards this week. 4th round pick in 08. During his rookie season, played tackle. He only started 2 games, but he played in 11. He then moved to right guard, where he played 4 straight seasons at right guard, starting all but 2 games. Selected for the Pro Bowl in 2012. He then went on to, you know what, I'm super versatile, me. So what did he do? he moved to left tackle, where he spent all last year playing left tackle. So that is Josh Sitton of the Packers, Jerry Evans, and Evans Matthews. We give you some extra love. So send in the big guys up top.
Welcome to the Zone Coverage Football Show.
We'll get rid of that because that is beyond embarrassing. Junid, I am now going to accept your contact details, by the way, on Skype. So if you want to hit me up on that, then go for it, buddy. I am ready. That's just accepted. Right, shrink that little window back down. I will check in on the good old Twitter. Hopefully this has got some sort of flow to it. I'm not holding my breath on that front. Just bear with me while this updates one moment. Relatively quiet today, guys. What are you doing? Oh, here we go. This is Junid now. Hello.
Hello.
Hi, Junid. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks. How you doing?
Yeah, very well. I've sort of bumbled my way through an hour of the show. Things your end, are you well? In good health and that?
Yeah, not too bad, thanks. How about yourself?
Yeah, I've had, like I said, at the top of the show, I've had a nice relaxing weekend away with the wife, getting me extra brownie points in before every Sunday.
The real stuff starts.
Yes, every Sunday, I've told her now, till February, I'm jam-packed.
Yeah. For me, it's Saturday and Sunday.
Are you big into the college stuff as well?
Yeah. I think I watched nearly all the games started on Thursday, Friday, or yesterday as well.
Wow, it's impressive stuff. I don't have the time, you see, because I work nights, the wife works days, so we're like passing ships. Saturday's sort of our day, so I can't quite wedge that one in just yet.
Yeah.
What can I do for you today, so young?
No, I thought I'd just call in. You was asking people to ring in.
Yeah.
And I thought I'd ring in. Just obviously a Packer fan, big game on Thursday.
Yeah, how do you feel about that? Because this is going back now. Do you view it as a revenge game for what they call the Fail Mary, the touch reception, however you want to word it?
It's in bad taste. It's in bad taste.
I can imagine.
But it's not a revenge game. I think we need to win this game. But against the big teams, if you look at the last couple of years, real games in the playoff against the Giants, the 49ers, games we need to win.
Yeah.
You haven't won.
Yeah, it's been weird, hasn't it? Since your Super Bowl run, you've got to the playoffs last year aside, relatively comfortable, and then it's just, I don't know. You ran into the Giants. What was it, twice? Once they hit their hot streak, I think they would have mowed down anyone. In all fairness, wouldn't they? And
then the 49ers last year, the game we should have really won.
I referenced that game last week when I was about the refs throwing the flags. That was one of the best games of the season in my eyes, when they were both just allowed to play. Very tough, physical game. Yeah. Rodgers played well. Like say, the corners could play. Kaepernick also had a good game. It's good one to enjoy. I would imagine painful your end.
Yeah, it was. Then obviously we lose our best quarterback. I think the biggest issue with the Packers is the number of injuries that seem to pile up every single year.
Yeah, because BJ Raji's gone down this year as well. What's your thought on that? Is that going to be that big? Because let's look in your division. There's not really going to be... It's going to be shootouts, isn't it? So are you really bothered that you're missing your nose tackle there, stuff in the run?
Our D-line's already thin as it is, and missing BJ... And this is his contract year.
Oh, is he?
Because people got to remember, he's only signed a 1-year contract this year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a 1-year deal. So this is the year, if he played well, the Packers most likely would have paid him big next year.
Ah, so he's going to come back on the cheap then next year, possibly.
Yeah. The D-line's already thin, and the linebacker group, so...
How do you feel, sorry to jump in there, how do you feel about your secondary? Because one of your corners, Sam Shields, signed a big deal in the off-season. And also, I was pretty high on Clinton Dix coming into the draft. Have you seen much of him over the course of pre-season? How's that looked? Yeah,
he's not looked too bad. I think he's he'll come as a rotation. He won't be starting, I don't think, from the start of the season. They're going to ease his way in, but by the end of the season, I could see him starting.
Yeah.
With Carlos Hyde, is a cornerback, but he's played better as safety, so there's a possibility that Hyde starts on safety with Burnett. Burnett signed a big contract a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
and he hasn't lived up to that either. So he's possible he could be gone in the season, and Clinton into his replacement.
Yeah, so just groom him into that role for ready for takeover. Well then, so going back to this game on Thursday, then I've got your record here against the Seahawks. You lead the series 10-6. I did. Where is it now? I did find out when you last beat the beat the Seahawks. I've wrote it down and now I can't find it. Basically, you've got a pretty decent record up there. But the Seahawks only lost that one game last year. Best D only allowing 231 points. You guys were 4-4 on the road. What if I had to say neck on the line, score-wise? Do you think it's going to be a high-scoring, low-score, something like 20?
Well, with the new rules, I think it's going to be pretty high. You alluded to your last week's podcast of the flag, the new rule changes are just baffling.
Oh, it's just annoying, isn't it? I don't get that. It's I know that they've said they're going to tone it down a little bit as we head into the season, but can you really see that happening?
No, the thing is, different crews are going to call games differently. One group might be a bit more lenient than others.
That's a fair point, yeah. I never thought about that.
But unless you're Jeff Triplett, you'll be calling everything.
Yeah, we're going to be sat there for 4.5 hours, aren't we, some games?
Yeah, that's the biggest issue, yeah. So I think it'll be a close game. Obviously, the biggest concern will be the offensive line. Needs to. We've lost our centre that was meant to replace Everett Smith, who's gone to the Bucks as a starter.
Yeah.
And Tretter was going to start this season as our main centre, but he's gone down with injury. That's another injury there for 6 weeks.
Oh dear, that's
so we're gonna have another the backup centre taking snaps from Rodgers. So there could be some issues heading to that game on Thursday with their pass rush as well on the road.
I was going to say centre wise, Josh Sitton, he's been taking snaps at centre as well, hasn't he?
Yeah. Because in case anything happens to our other centres. Yeah, but for some reason I don't know what it is with the Packers. I don't know what they're feeding them or something, but the injuries seem to pile up every year.
Yeah, you seem to be very unfortunate on the injury front, and yet you come so close. I imagine that's the frustrating part then for you as a Packers fan. If you look down the roster, it's loaded with talent, but injuries seem to catch up. Even when you won the Super Bowl, you were injury-ridden then when you got to the big dance then, to be fair. Yeah,
just they need if you look at it, I think the draft picks in the last few years haven't panned out. If you go back to the 2010 draft or 11 draft, where they went defense through the first 7 rounds, there's only 2 players remaining.
Wow.
And one's starting, and the other probably Nick Perry's the other one, and Hayward's the other one. He's played pretty well, but he got injured last year, so he's coming back. And Perry has been being pretty ordinary, so we're going to literally have 1 pick left from that draft.
Oh, that's not ideal, is it? That either.
Yeah.
I don't know if you caught it earlier. I missed the majority of the roster cuts yesterday. Anyone that got cut, or anyone that you feel that maybe shouldn't have made the final 53-man roster?
Yeah, Chris Badger, he's a safety/cornerback.
Yeah.
He's pretty decent as a rotational guy and a good special team player. He got cut, which is interesting.
Ah.
Yeah.
So you see, will he make it through to your practice squad, or do you think he'll get claimed?
I think he might just make it, but you just never know.
Yeah.
I mean, our wide receivers are pretty set now. There's no surprises. There was 1 or 2, obviously Amadeus is out for the year, so then it would have been interesting who they would have cut at wide receiver.
Yeah, I'm just looking at your receiver now. Jarrett Boykin, what's your take on him? I sort of listen to a few like fantasy-wise podcasts and stuff, and people regard him as maybe like a sleeper. Would you take him as a late round? And obviously you've seen a lot more of him than me. What's your sort of take on him?
Yeah, I definitely think it would be worth for later on. He's played pretty well last year with Matt Flynn and Scott Closine. If you're playing well with them, and we got Rodgers.
You took the words right out of my mouth there. Yeah, if you're doing the business with those guys, then yes, you do well.
The ball's gonna be spread out a lot. You got Nelson, Cobb, then you got Boykin, then you got the Titans, Richard Rodgers. They seem to be really high on him.
Yeah, I was going to say that was my next question. Tight end wise, as I've done a review for the Packers Seahawks game, that was maybe going down your roster. That's possibly your one weakness.
Yeah, it was. Finley's since that year before the year before the Super Bowl, we lost to Arizona. He had a big year then, and he sort of never lived up to it. And then he had a neck injury. They just need to find a replacement. But we finally found a running back. It did a long time to say that.
Yeah, there was some crazy stat. You'd gone so many games without a 100-yard rusher.
Yeah, it was. I think it was about 20.
Yeah, it was something crazy. Yeah, Eddie Lacy, you're on about there. Yeah, this guy is an absolute beast. I've been very impressed, and Starks as well compliments him.
Yeah, and then we've got Harris as well, another one. We've got a three-headed monster now.
I'll be honest with you, I'm a bit unfamiliar with Harris, so he looks the part as well then?
Yeah, it would be someone they can bring in time to time.
Yeah, late on in games if you're running down the clock.
Yeah, they don't need to use just Lacey all the time, because it's important not to wear and tear.
Yeah, it's hard though, isn't it, when you're like that, because he's such a good athlete and a great player. How varying his workload. If you're just pounding the rock and it's getting you down the field, you keep on. It's tough call. Like I say, you've got the compliments now with Starks and that. So.
Yeah, because last year they wanted to tone down his carries, Lacey, but with Flynn and Tozine, they couldn't really. They got into that mode where we can't really let the foot off the gas, so to speak.
Yeah, they sort of painted themselves in the corner, didn't they, with the injury to Rodgers. Is there anything else from sort of like around the league during this pre-season, or even we can go into like the realm of college football that's sort of jumping out at you?
Obviously, the college football is going to have a playoff this year, so that's going to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, that's all new. How's that? I'll be honest with you. College football, it escapes me. So how's that working this year round?
Basically, if you watch the NCAA basketball tournament, they have a committee. So, end of the year, a committee of 12 people will sit around the table and they're going to discuss the 4 teams they're going to decide to go to the playoffs.
Oh, right. So say there was 6 teams with similar winning records, they then have to decide who
it will be based on strength of schedule. So, depending where because they're going to have a poll every week.
Yeah.
For the ratings of how well they rate the teams, and they're based on that as well. Strength of schedule, what conference you play in, who's got the stronger opponents and stuff like that will go into effect.
So my next question then is, at that scheme, do you see that as a fair scheme that it goes down to a committee? Because what happens if maybe you are in like a poor schedule-wise and it just pans out for you, but maybe you just lost the odd game because you were a bit too cocky and took your foot off the gas maybe?
Most likely you won't be in the playoffs.
Yeah, you wouldn't be.
Yeah.
Could he not? Obviously, I don't know the overall setup.
But basically, last year there was no playoff, and the way that they decided the 2 teams was just based on ranking. A computer used to do it for them.
Oh, right.
Which is even worse.
Let's go and say. So they're not even like, all right, now what do you think? This is my view. That's yours. They like enter in the computer in a way. That's crazy.
It wasn't really working out, and then there was a lot of good teams that were missing out that deserved it.
Yeah.
And other teams that got in because of the computer system is not taking effect into different scenarios when they played that opponent and who was starting and stuff like that.
Do you think that system would ever fly in the NFL? We just put you all into a computer. That's crazy.
Yeah, but I think in a few years' time we'll see 8-team playoff.
Yeah, they reckon that's going to come round.
Yeah,
what before?
Yeah, it'll be in 8 teams in the playoffs, which will be better for everyone. Obviously, there's more money involved as well.
Well,
so because ESPN just signed a deal for the playoffs for over $2 billion.
Wow.
That's only 4 teams involved.
Wow, that is a lot of money.
Yeah.
$4 billion for the rights for the TV.
Obviously, there's a number of good quarterbacks in the college this year that the teams will be looking at, especially the St. Louis Rams.
Oh yeah, definitely. definitely. They're going to need some help at that situation there. As are the Bills. I mean, they're struggling.
I mean, the thing is with the Bills that they probably regret taking Sammy Watkins at 5 now, because they're on their first round pick next year.
Ah, yes, that is very true. Yeah, so you could say they've shot themselves in both feet.
So basically, the Lions will get a top 5 pick.
Yeah. Wow.
Most likely, and they'll have their own pick as well. So they could get an elite player in the top 10, and just build their roster like the Rams did with the RG3 trade.
Yeah, that's a good point. Something to look forward to. So I say that I don't follow college that much. The team that I do sort of check in with every now and again due to my random late night shifts, I do catch up with the Oregon Ducks. Marcus Mariota, your thoughts on him?
Yeah, for me, he's the number 1 quarterback.
Yeah. Better than Winston?
I like Winston, but I think if you look at the Ducks last year when Mariota was injured, and he was sort of injured, he was playing with half injured, they struggled, but when he's going, they look unbeatable. I think if he was fully healthy last year, they would have played for the national title.
Yeah.
I think he's number 1 for me anyway.
Yeah. That's great. I just wanted to get someone's obviously, you sort of like have a homer pick, don't you, and say all your players are great, and just nice to get an outside view every now and again.
I mean, yesterday from probably from 6 o'clock in the evening till about 2-3 in the morning, I was watching college football.
So pulling all night. Did you do the same again on the Sunday night as well?
I rarely watch the Sunday night games. I usually watch them Monday morning.
Yeah.
When I wake up and they can fast forward everything, the adverts and stuff.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Fast forwarding and all that.
Unless the Packers are playing, then I'll stay up.
Then you religiously watch them.
Yeah, I watch all the games. Apart from that Monday night football game, I woke up and I seen the incident. Yeah. I went to work in the morning because my shift was starting at 6 o'clock, and I was in a bad mood for the rest of the day.
That's easily done, though.
Because I just seen what happened and I think, oh my god, what the hell's going on here?
Yeah, that did signify the end of those. He was under the replacement referees as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I know it cost you guys a win, but it gave everyone else the proper refs back.
Yeah.
Not to rub salt in the wounds.
And then we was getting screwed by the original ref when they did come back, and we was at the forefront of it.
Oh,
the leaders of it. Oh, it's so bad.
It's brutal. It goes like that every now and again.
Yeah, it's excited to have the NFL season back. And
yeah, it's going to be great stuff. Anything else then do you need? I've got about 10 minutes left before I wrap the show
I don't know, is there anything you want to discuss?
You can't flip it on me like that. My mind's gone blank.
Yeah, just obviously 2 of the British players got cut.
Oh, did they get? Menelik Watson?
No, he's staying there. Lawrence Oakey got released by the 49ers, and Jack Crawford got released by the Raiders.
Oh, right. They got the wrong Raider. Right team, wrong player.
Yeah, Crawford got released. He'd probably make it on the practice squad with someone.
Yeah.
Oakey was always going to be a long shot in the long run anyway.
Yeah.
But obviously he never played in college or anything.
Yeah, it's tough to make the transition when you haven't got that body of work and that film, have you, for people to review?
Yeah, it's just he may catch on, but it could be the end for him.
Yeah, it's a shame. Like I say, hopefully we've got a few more of our guys that can possibly crack the NFL moving forward.
Yeah, it's be interesting, you know. Obviously, there's a couple of British players in the college league playing in college football already.
Oh, right. I didn't know that. What?
Yeah, there's a running back for Boise State, Jay Ajayi. He's a running back. He was born in England. He was raised here till about 9.
Oh, right.
And then he moved to Texas. And there's a guard, I can't remember his name now, but he plays for Texas A&M.
Yeah.
He's the backup at the minute, but he could potentially be starting if any injuries go down.
Oh, that's good. I'll be honest with you. I've just written that down. Running back Boise State and a guard Texas A&M. I shall have a look into those guys, see if I can keep.
If I remember the name, I'll tweet it you anyway.
Yeah, I'll tweet that out there. Something for.
Jay Ajayi. He plays for Boise State. He's potentially. He's got 2 years of eligibility left, so there's a potential that if he doesn't declare this year, next year he could be a top. Maybe not first round, but early second round pick.
Oh, great stuff. Something to keep an eye on then moving forward.
Yeah, but obviously if you're a running back, I would suggest you could declare early.
Yeah, I'd say the value of running backs, though, you're going to...
It's gone down.
Yeah,
it's going down.
it's not what it used to be. Right then, Junaid.
Yeah.
I'm going to sort of aim towards wrapping things up now. Anything else before I go? Or?
Yeah, that's it. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, Junaid, absolute pleasure. I appreciate. I know you tweeted at me, Zone Coverage FS. Do you want to plug anything you want to plug? Twitter handle if you want anyone to talk
you can follow me on Twitter, J_Hussain. That's J_HUSSAIN.
That's fantastic.
I'm usually tweeting about sports, college football and stuff.
Fantastic.
And then obviously the NHL season starts. I'm always discussing TV shows.
TV. Oh, you've got me on this one now. What TV shows do you watch?
Well, my list will go on pretty much for a
while. Do you watch
now.
mainly like American TV shows?
Yeah, American. I don't watch. There's not many British shows I watch, apart from like Doctor Who.
Yeah, we're on the same page. House of Cards. Do you watch that?
Yeah, I watch House of Cards.
Great
That's
show.
brilliant. Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Mine's gone blank now. Sons of Anarchy.
Yeah, watch that.
Good man.
Final season. Can't wait for it.
Yeah, that starts next month. Excited about that.
Yeah.
The big one, Breaking Bad. Did you watch that?
Yeah, I did watch that.
Good
yeah.
man. An old one, The Wire. Did you ever watch The Wire?
Yeah, I watched The Wire. Yeah. It was the last few years I've been going over.
Yeah. Fantastic.
You watched The Arrow?
No, I've never bothered with that one. No, it's not taking me fancy. I'll be honest. Good.
It's a pretty good show.
Yeah, I might check that one out.
Yeah, it's there's so many Agents of Shield. You've seen that?
No, I'm on the fence with the sort of Marvel-y comic sort of thing. I've watched the odd film, but I'm not big on it if I'm honest.
Did you watch The Orange Is the New Black?
I watched the first season. The second season, the first 3 or 4 episodes I liked, and then it seems to just nosedive for me.
Yeah. There's a new one that's come on recently, The Leftovers.
Oh, I've not seen that one. I
I wouldn't recommend watching it on a Monday morning. You'd be pretty depressed.
Oh, right, is it that bad?
It's a really good show, but it's really dark.
I like dark shows then, so I've written that down. Right, I feel that this is maybe a subject we can touch on another time. I'm going to wrap things up now.
Did you ever watch Dexter?
Yeah, yes, Dexter. Love
What do you think of the finale? I was pretty disappointed with the final season,
I'm with
in
you.
all honesty.
The final season dragged out for me, and I don't know, I won't try and do a spoiler alert. I won't say what happened, but
I was pretty unhappy.
How it got wrapped up, I was disappointed. I'll be honest, because that was a great show. The best season they had was with what was the
final season with his wife in it?
Yeah, Trinity, the Trinity Killer.
Yeah.
What was that about? Season 3?
Yeah,
that was the best
I think
season.
it should have ended at season 5 or 6 for me.
I can't remember.
It sort of dragged on for the last 2 seasons.
Yeah, it did go on a little bit too long. Good show though. Right then, Junaid, I'm going to chop you off, mate. Little Dexter reference there, chop you off.
No worries.
Right, appreciate the call.
No worries.
As you say, stay in touch. And
yeah, definitely will. Obviously, towards the end of college football season.
Yeah, do you want to come on and you've got prospects for everyone keep an eye out on? Just come on, if you want to talk about anything, just come on the show anytime, spread the word, mate. It'd be very much appreciated.
No worries. Thanks for having me anyway.
Anytime. Take care.
You too, bye.
Thanks, bye. And there we go. I'll be honest with you guys, I was really unsure that I would be able to rattle off a 90-minute show. We got into a little bit of TV shows there. That is sort of like a genre that I will happily talk about all day. So any of those shows that me and Junaid just mentioned, go and check out. Oh dear. Right, I've got a random show. There's a chat box. I've just discovered that there's an actual chat box on the Spreaker app. If you listen via Spreaker, there's a chat box that pops up, and a chap here, Simon Barbett. Simon, if you are still listening, I don't mean to be rude, pal. I've just seen it. This pops up, and I am writing down the email to the message that you have left for me, and this is very, very unprofessional now. But Simon, if you want to email me that at Zone Coverage Football Show Zone Coverage Football Show at mail.com. I know, Tom, I did see the notification flash up for... oh, God. I'm totally thrown off by that message box that I've discovered. Tom from Odo Magazine, I saw the message flash up on Skype. Yeah, I'll leave that one this week, buddy. A week without you, that seems very odd. I'll text you after the show. By the way, I will jump back to Twitter before... I'm going to wrap up with a few mentions. I did have a Seahawks Packers review, but I feel me and Junaid sort of skirted around the edges of that. So that is Thursday night. I do believe that is on one of the Sky Sports channels, kickoff 8:30, which is going to be 1:30 UK time. So get to that. I was going to have a look at the Chargers and the Cardinals. I will carry that over now to next week. I'll be honest. You got what? The last 5 minutes of the show. I'm just going to wrap up and recap a few things. For you guys, you might be new to the show. You might want to know how to get in touch, where to find everything. So the best place to go really would be the website, zonecoveragefootballshow.com. I feel like all I've said is Zone Coverage FS on Twitter for the last 90 minutes. So hit me up on that. What I will say is, if you do tweet me during the week, I work nights and I do a 12-hour shift, so from 6 p.m. at night. If you tweet after that sort of time frame, if I don't reply, I'm not being rude or ignorant. I'm at work. There's cameras up in the sky, and I have to be careful. So it might take me an hour or two get back to you. I might get back to you the following day. Just bear with me on that front, but I aim to reply to every tweet that I get. It just might take me a while, so that's the reason why there. We do have a Facebook page, by the way. Go to Facebook, like that page, share as much content, as much stuff as you can. iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spreaker. You guys have been doing an absolutely amazing job. The sort of the messages that I get be via DM, emails, just in general, the calls. We've had calls every week. I was absolutely petrified that I wouldn't get a call at all. So from me to you, it's a collective pat on the back to you. You all absolutely rock. I've been totally overwhelmed, and you'll know with the extension of the show, I've not had a chance to express my gratitude and thanks to you all. So that's what I'm doing now. So catching up on that front. Shout out to everyone that's rang in today. Started off with Rich. Junaid's just rang in as well. We did have 2 calls today. Yeah, I'm lost where I am now. I had a few mentions. Martin Forrester, he's been active on the Facebook page, as Tim Morris as well. Simon Parkinson, Matt Phillips, Will Davies, Tom Marshall, UK First Down. I got Marty, Rich, Simon Barber, who's been on this little chat room here. Tom from Huddle. Go check those guys out as well. I think they've got their last offer of the year was tweeted out. So you basically go take advantage of that. I'm panning now. I said I'd wrap it up, and I've got a couple of minutes left. But yeah, going back, the hot route was probably a poor one this week. Let's be honest. No one really phoned in with their expectations. I'm hoping that as we go forward, we get some hot topics from around the league. Also, don't be afraid if there's anything you dislike about the show, any features that you think are absolute garbage, or you think that are good, or even if you've got a suggestion. I'm not shy to steal a feature from you. Let me know, hit me up, and we'll go through that. Also, next week, we're going to get into some game previews. The reviews that I was doing on the preseason games. Question, I think it was, UK First Down. I probably got that wrong. Apologies. Where's my list gone? Where's my list? Yeah, UK First Down mentioned something about maybe not too much stats on the games. Is that a general sort of conclusion? Do you want less, more? I'll cater to everyone's needs. I'll cater to the masses. What do you want? Let me know. Where are we now? Yeah, that's sort of it. Yeah, Trade Raid Aid. Let me know about that feature. The premise of that was if you could trade for a player, no picks, nothing like that, similar sort of stature. If you could raid anyone, that'd be taking in a player from any team to assist your team. And aid was just help a player that maybe can't catch a ball, can't break a tackle, Trent Richardson, or basically staying injury free. The wife pops in, she's incessant on taking pictures of of me while I'm doing that. She's telling me it's 5:30 and I've got to go off air. I have in fact got 40 seconds left. So if you have stuck with me for 90 minutes, pat yourselves on the back. And thank you. And let me know if you did last 90 minutes, because that is some phenomenal achievement. That is me done. I will be back next week. Same time, same place, same rambling nonsense. So until next week, guys, hustle, hit, and never quit. I'm out.
Thank you for tuning in to today's show. Unable to listen live? We've got that covered. Simply search the Zone Coverage Football Show in either iTunes or Stitcher Radio. And don't forget to subscribe. All our shows and details on how to call into the show can be found on the website www.zonecoveragefootballshow.com.